got their phones turned off, turned down, after reading the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amber, roll call please.
Martyr.
Here.
Major. Here. Schneider.
Here.
Sofa.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Wilson.
Here.
Zimmer.
Here.
Non-agenda items on the sidelines. First up, Sammy Phillips, you want to talk about Bell River and the fire department?
Yeah, I'd like to know when Bell River's gonna get started. I had heard it was gonna get started as soon as school got out.
I just saw there's notification, it's been delayed a couple of weeks.
Yes, there's.
That's right here, we got a notification.
Yeah, I have information over here, and Bart and I attended a meeting on Wednesday, June the 12th, with the St. Clair County Road Commission in Porter, and we were informed the project was on hold, and Bart received word on Tuesday, June the 27th, from Bill Hazelton, who was overseeing the project. It's still it's still a low project load, but it will be delayed a few weeks. So, a few weeks. Pardon?
That could be anything.
Oh, I don't.
We don't have any control over it because it's like a county
No,
project.
Yeah.
Now, we're putting money into it,
Right.
but it actually is handled by St. Clair
Yep.
County.
Yep, I realize
And
that.
the road commission, they're handling it, and well, when we left that meeting, we weren't too happy, but then a few days later, we got further word that it's still a project, but it will be doing.
Good.
And believe me, right in front of my house is the worst, so I want to test it.
I don't know, I think you could get somebody in your vehicle in Riley Center and bring them along, and as soon as you get to city limits, they can tell you. If they were somebody blind.
Who does the 5K for the Memphis days?
Lori Sanborn.
Okay, do you know if they go through that, down that road as that route? They don't go over there at all?
No,
They go this way.
they're coming across Maple.
I'd say they might have to change their route if they're in construction at that time.
Well, they
You never know when they're gonna
They
start.
do go down Church Street, Maple, and up Bell River.
Yeah, so if they do, they might have to, if they got the road tore up at the time, you're not gonna wanna run down that road. It's just something to keep in mind for Lori.
Okay, the other thing I have is the fire department. I wanna know what the city is doing to help him get people on call Monday through Fridays. Because I don't wanna make a 911 call and have to wait for Emmett to come, or find out Emmett has nobody answering, and wait forever for somebody for health reasons, for fire, for a car accident, or whatever. Because there are calls that they have not answered, because there's been nobody in this town to answer it. And I don't wanna be, I pay my taxes, I want help coming to me if I make a call. I know you have a couple council members that deal with each area, but what is the city doing to help him? You know, are you looking at getting people on, paid for the day, Monday through Friday, or what? We gotta do something. I mean, cause this is ridiculous. I got a scanner in the house, so I know.
We know it's a problem, but,
Do you wanna call at your house and nobody comes?
So we have been talking about actually like hiring somebody to be here on call. It's just, we have to go through the process of what, are they gonna be part-time, what sort of employee are they gonna be, and how do we do it, you
And
know?
what do we do in the meantime? Because the ambulance isn't out here sitting all the time. There are times when we've had calls between here and Emmett, and they've had to wait for the ambulance to come from the Haven area, because these other ones have all been busy, and there's nobody here to answer.
well, there's the fire department's supported by us and 3 townships.
Right?
And we had a heck of a time, and Doug knows this, even getting approval from the townships, even to support what we allocated for their expense this year. And it's very difficult, and I know it's a serious problem,
Slightly less.
slightly less.
Well,
So,
and then we were talking, it's like, do they get benefits and how does that all work? They become full-time employee or part-time? How would we work that? So we're just trying to figure out a way because we can't take on a new cost and then not have support from the townships that are, you know, watching every dime that we send them on.
Well, even some of the townships are hurting themselves. I mean, out this way, they went with Richmond. I've sat and listened to calls out here at house fires. Memphis could have been there back before Richmond even gets there, and them houses then are gone.
They don't like the cost of the contracts.
So that's the thing that we're dealing with.
If we hire somebody, the contract cost goes up, they're
Right.
even react worse, you know?
Yeah, it's right now, we don't, I mean, we're still a volunteer, and the trouble is trying to find somebody to volunteer like Doug does. All of it, you know.
Trust me, I know. Bob was on 2 calls the day before he died. So trust me, I know all about the volunteer department. And at his age, he should have never been on there. He had over 39 years, and he was still on there because nobody would get on anymore. I don't know what this next generation, what their deal is, but they don't want to help their communities out, I guess. And then a lot of them get their education and move on. Because the full-time departments all have unions and they won't let them be on the departments.
Right.
And that kills us too.
So we're trying to find a way to.
Well, I hope it
work
moves
that.
along pretty quickly, because I feel bad for people that put a call in and they have to wait for help.
Because we're thinking if we do hire somebody, it's not gonna be, you know, a full-time position that somebody can raise a family. You know, we're talking $30,000-$40,000 or less. And so it's gonna probably have to be someone who's like retired, semi-retired. So it's to find that right person that can kind of do
Well,
that.
just stop and think while you're dragging your feet. I know it's a lot to get into, but if you had the calls at your house and nobody came, or they took them a long time to get there, how would all you feel? That's the point you gotta look at.
I know we kind of been saved a little bit by Richmond, Lennox being on both sides of town.
Yep.
They get busy too.
Because Emmett gets called for us and we get called for Emmett, because Emmett's hurting too. Well, a lot of the northern ones are all hurting.
Yeah.
And they have other people, other departments they call, because nobody's got help anymore.
So we've been lucky with, like I said, Richmond, Lennox, EMS. Now that they have one over here, you know, but they get busy, they can't be in two.
They get too many calls for out here and then they're on the road all the time for
They could be
400
somewhere else, right?
All right.
Thanks, Andy. Mr. Fields?
Okay. Jim Fields, 80263 Bell River Road. I was at the last planning commission meeting, introduced myself kind of. I'm an electrical sign specialist in the state of Michigan. I've been in the commercial sign industry for 30 years. I deal with building codes, zonings, appeals, ordinances, variances across the state. I've done them through Indiana, I've done them in Ohio, and I've done them in Kentucky. And like I told the planning commission, I was pretty candid. You guys, I'm kind of embarrassed at some of the video footage I've watched of some of the meetings. I think the city deserves better, and I think you can do better for the city. Just how some of the participation has been with some of the projects in the public comment. My point tonight is to look at the Bell River and the Pratt Road, the problem that you're seeing now with the erosion and the flooding and the drain control since the construction. I own one of the units in phase 1 of the Memphis Meadows. There was a detention pond drawn, it's still part of the master deed, it hasn't been put in. The back lots of the yards on Bell River and on Pratt should have an 18-foot drainage easement. There's a 9-foot easement on the 2 properties, the larger lots at 4 and 5, to allow the water that should channel between those properties, which comes in off the feed-all lowest. The contractor buried a tile because of the pitch difference when they decided to go to basement construction. Without the completed drainage and grade certificates back there to move that water to the detention pond that doesn't exist, you've created flooding on top of clay soil that sits. Last summer and even this summer. Last summer there was ponding on that property on the back lot that's not developed yet. Quarter-acre, half-acre lots of water sitting on top of not doing any weed control where your weeds would back there be 2-3 foot. So the mosquito population last year was dense. We're heading back for that this year. With the increases in the heights because of the basement constructions, you now have between a 28 and 44-inch fall directly to adjacent properties that are not part of the development. So that watershed is going on to adjacent properties, which is a problem, which is also not addressed because the drainage is not addressed on the phase 1 build. It's part of your code to address the erosion. The condominium project should be held to the same standards as any subdivision. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with 152.42 of your own code. Everything should be subjected to that. So that detention pond's a big problem not being put in there. Don't know why it isn't in there. The new construction across the street on the east side of Bell Road, you have public sidewalks still open. There's no barricades, there's no sidewalk closure. Most cities require sidewalk closure permits and street occupancy permits when there's construction. You have sidewalks that are now flooded, broken up. They're not labeled as not for public use or closed. There's still kids walking through that stuff, riding bikes through that, people walk around it. Again, we're dealing with the flooding issues there because that's tore up. Your tile that is underneath that, running north-south, is destroyed. So the house across the street from me, which is Dean's house, that water is now pooling at his driveway and it's pocketing up there. You just did all this new infrastructure work going up Lewis and replaced all those tiles. The tile coming underneath Bell River to tie into the cross T that crosses down the side of my property is non-functioning. It's not passing water under Bell River. Again, now we got another pocket of water sitting down here at the corner of Lewis and Bell River. The erosion and soil control issues need to be addressed on these projects. I don't know why the detention pond's not in there. It's required in 3 sections of your code. It's in the master plan. It's been neglected. If it's being considered as tying it into phase 2, which is not contractually ever has to be built, that's a fallacy. Checked with the County Drain Commission. It's not tying into a county drain, so they signed off on that portion, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't need to go in. It needs to go in. You know, you've got problems with properties, you're gonna have other property owners, you're getting flooding, you've got clay soil, you've got a back lot that's not being maintained. You've got vegetation growing crazy. You know, it's something that really, really needs to be looked at. It's becoming a nuisance and it's a safety issue. And it's gonna come at the cost of the city. You're gonna have to replace all the sidewalks, all the tile coming in on that new construction where they're doing the 3 houses. Who's paying for that? The destruction of the road. Now the erosion is tearing apart the asphalt, which is already thin, with the compounded construction traffic and any future construction traffic going in there. Bell River's not gonna hold up. So it's something the city really needs to look at seriously right now. That's what I got.
Thanks. I wish our DPW director was here to address some of this, but I can't speak directly into it, but thank you, Mr. Fields.
I did take the liberty of going to Macomb County and checking what is on files because of this detention pond controversy. And I came to the conclusion that yes, they did sign off on, it's not technically tied into a county drain. So they gave them a pass, and they don't need a permit from the county, because if it's tied into a county drain, they have to clear it with the Public Works in Macomb County. I don't think that absolves them from putting it in. I mean, I even went down and got the prints, and, you know, it says right on these prints that all structures improvements shown on the plan have either been constructed or must be built in that phase 1. It shows the detention pond on it. And those issues are, you know, I know that we got meetings coming up where we're going to address it, but we have to, just as Sandy said, we have some issues to deal with there on the fire department, and it's time that we try to move them along as fast as possible before we get any further into this project to make sure people are being held accountable. When they go, we own it, and the last thing I want is for the state to come in after the fact and point out what Memphis didn't do right. I want no more of those controversies if we can at all help it. So I think we really, we do need to make that a priority and try to work with, you know, the builder and the citizens that are out there to alleviate these issues. They're real. I mean, I took a look back there. I mean, I see there are bulrushes or cattails established back there. You know, I'm an old school environmental guy and did, you know, a lot of land management stuff in another life in nursery business, and you don't have bulrushes growing unless you've had water for quite some time. And we have to get that straightened out, but I'm trusting that we will get on that road, that special meeting we have coming up on the.
Can I add another element to that?
Sure.
So on that back lot, so all the fill that's come up on these houses, they've actually drugged the topsoil from the back lot, which isn't part of the current development. And they brought that up. So as they increase the basement heights, they've drugged that many more yards of soil from the back lot across the back of the front lots to do that. So if you actually look out in that field, you'll see a cut line in the vegetation where there's a step in that clay soil. Some instances, it's between 6 and 14 inches of grade that they've taken off that first, I'd say, I walked it, it's probably 100 yards, 300, 320 feet of topsoil that's been drugged up to fill around these houses.
Right.
So again, you're gonna start getting.
You have unusable land back there, that's exactly your properties, because it's all wet, right?
Well, yeah, that's wet, but, so if they're proposing, if they've got a topo existing to do any proposals for the second phase, that topo is gonna have to be reshot because that grade has changed. And without the detention area, you've created a clay mass now that just holds water. It's almost as effective as a pond liner out there. And that's a big problem, yeah.
I wonder, like, what if this wasn't a development and somebody had just sold a bunch of lots and people bought them and built their own houses on there? Who would be responsible for a retention pond or something in that case?
No, that's speculation.
I'm just saying, I mean,
The DPW would have to come in with a civil engineer and they would have to do that. It would have to be shot by a
Make sure
survey
the
team
drainage is
and
drained.
put in before.
each house would have to be
Before,
set
yeah.
like that, okay.
Yeah,
I just wondered, you know.
yeah, that's how it would roll through.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Next up, Tammy.
Good evening, I'm just inquiring about the status of the signage proposal for my business. Last city council meeting, I brought it up. It was supposed to go to the planning commission. I was told I wouldn't have to wait another month, but here it is another
Can I
month.
make a response on that, Tammy? We did check with the attorney, and unfortunately, I don't have that in front of me right now, but basically, it was that had to go to the planning commission and had to have a public hearing. Now, it went to the planning commission, however, a public hearing wasn't scheduled. A public hearing now is scheduled for Monday, I think it's on a Monday, and on
July
the 8th of July 8th. So that's next Monday, I believe. So they'll have a public hearing. Then it's come back to council. However, instead of waiting for another council meeting, which would then be in August, we legally can survey the council members and get approval. And then you can proceed. However, then when it comes before council, again, we have to formally approve it.
Okay.
So that's, unfortunately, it should have been a public hearing scheduled, which it wasn't. So we're trying to correct those errors that we make. So that's the kind of the status of it at this point.
Okay, thank
Okay?
you.
Tammy, I might add that when we have that public hearing, that's all that's gonna be on the agenda, because that's all we're gonna have on there. We got
Right.
one with town.
So it'll just be you and the signage issue, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
So we will propose language to try to amend that, which we have to do in front of a public hearing. It doesn't really completely fix all the holes in our sign ordinances, but I think it will be enough to get it started, and then the planning commission's gonna have to decide whether they want to flesh out that signing ordinance more, but I'm very optimistic. We will finally get it done. I apologize for the delays, we're sometimes not as sharp as we need to be because we are part-time and not making excuses. It's just the as is what it is. And hopefully we'll get that straightened out.
Okay, I
That's
appreciate it.
in
Thank
July,
you.
hopefully.
Right, comment from city administrator. We'll start with you, Doug.
So just going along with what Sandy spoke about tonight, the daytime help issue is probably the #1 priority for the fire department right now. We can't keep going on the way it's going on. like today I had to run into Richmond to get some things for the fire department. And I had to pray that the time I was gone, we got no calls, because I'm the only one around. It just doesn't work anymore.
So if we are able to figure out how to hire somebody, they will be here the whole time, they won't have, they won't be running
Right.
to go by.
But there'll be two of us around then,
Oh, because
too.
you'll be back
Yeah.
up, like, okay, a little bit of
But
slack for you.
for me
so.
to do this full-time now by myself, I can't keep doing that.
Mhm.
So I beg you to make this a priority, whatever we need to do to start talking about it. We need to do so.
Do you know
I
anyone?
think we need to schedule another fire committee meeting,
Well,
committee meeting and get this, we know what the problems are.
Right.
We need to have another meeting and set some priorities and goals to do it. I know the funding is a disparagement between some of our other cities. I may even involve, and I hate to say the tax word, but I don't know. We have to come up with some funding to get a full-time or part-time person, someone who can fit
In
that
all
role.
honesty, based on how we did on last year's budget, funding is not a problem
Okay.
right now.
So, do you know anybody, and I know maybe you know people in the firefighting community, that somebody may be a, early retired union firefighter that's looking for a
Now,
part-time?
we'll have to
Well, you know,
advertise it.
why don't we turn this over to the fire committee?
Okay.
Steve, you want to set up a meeting with these guys
will.
and
I'd be happy to.
go from there? Yep, okay. Parks and Rec?
I don't have anything for Parks and Rec.
No?
Music in the park tomorrow.
Yes, music in the park tomorrow, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who we got playing?
We have, Weekend Comeback tomorrow night. Yep. So for the next 6 weeks, every Wednesday, 7 to 8:30, music in the park, hope you will come. Yeah. we did. I'm
You guys
here on
think from
behalf of the
library here?
library. I'm sorry?
So do we have somebody here from the library here?
Yeah.
Sort of. I'm here just in case we have any questions about what's on the agenda later.
Cool.
But we are doing summer reading and it's a hopping place at the library. I expect to see everybody here, not just Larry.
Okay.
Maybe I was just over there.
You know what? I did see you. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to call you out.
You're just not as frequent as you were.
No, definitely not.
All right,
Your wife
next-
is.
Okay. Moving on. We're looking at amending the agenda.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to remove number 1 and replace it with the Memphis Days schedule. And then add new business number 7 for the Michigan Municipal League election.
Was that Zimmer?
Yeah.
Mazer?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zimmer?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes. All right, approval of the regular meeting minutes of, excuse me, June 4th, 2024. If there are any corrections, I'll take a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Schneider?
Yes.
Sofa?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zimmer?
Yes.
Martyr?
Yes.
Mazer?
Yes.
All right, next up, approval of, our presentation approval of the June disbursements report of $152,543.11 and electric wire transfers of $13,739.49. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the June disbursements of $152,543.11. Electronic wire transfers of $13,739.49.
Support?
Sofa?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Zimmer?
Yes.
Martyr? Mazer?
Yes.
Schneider?
Yes.
Okay, moving on to new business, oh, I have no communications. no unfinished business. New business number 1, the Memphis Festival Days. We had looked at this before, but we didn't take a appropriate vote on this. So I'll read the letter to City Council. On behalf of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce, we are requesting permission to hold several events during this year's Memphis Festival Days. Memphis Festival Day Parade, Friday, August 2nd at 6:30. And the Memphis Festival Days fireworks, Saturday, August 3rd. The fireworks will be at the Lions Hall this year. The Memphis Festival Days 5K Run, which is going to be August 2nd prior to the parade. The Memphis Festival Days Duck Race, Sunday, August 4th at 3 p.m. At the Musial Park. Any questions with this, get a hold of Veranda, we got a number here for you, but could I get a motion to approve the goings on for the parade?
I'll make a motion.
Support.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa.
Yes.
All right, next up, the St. Clair County Parks and Rec millage. This is basically a renewal of our contract. I think we're up to.
Oh, we're not doing that one tonight.
This?
That's what we replaced.
Oh, that was the one,
That's Jeff White, smart contract. I got rid of that.
no. Oh,
So we're going this one, separate.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't take it out of my pile, my apologies. For Parks and Rec, this is gonna be, renewing, getting our 25% distribution from the Parks and Rec millage. Just an annual renewal, give it a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the 25% local millage distribution.
Support. Sorry, Larry, did you want to?
No, I'm gonna make a comment, there. Go ahead.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Yeah, I did talk to Bart on how that's gonna be allocated. I think we were trying to accumulate enough money between last year and this year. And he's suggesting like a playscape down there similar to what we have over here.
Okay, so then we put over at.
Yeah, now I don't know if this is enough to cover that with last year's. I mean, that's something we'll have to look at.
Okay.
Okay, that's
It
all.
looks like she calculated it.
Pardon?
Looks like she calculated it.
Oh, she
Or you must
calculated
have
it?
mentioned it to her, yeah.
Oh, we got $3,500, so we'll have to then check and see if that.
Where we're at and whether or not,
Yeah.
okay, that'd be good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next up, city clerk election assistant. From Donna, I'm requesting approval to allow me to hire an election assistant. As you're all aware, the 9 days of early voting really put a great deal of work and stress on this office, not to mention a great deal of time. It has become just too much work for two-person office. Eric Schneider has been helping us out with election the past year, and would like him as an election assistant. I would like to pay him $15 per hour for his position. This, of course, would be based on an only as-need basis. If you approve the request, I would need a motion and for the position in the hourly pay. Okay. Any comments?
Well, they've definitely got a lot of problems now because it's 9 days ahead
Yeah,
of them, so.
9 days
It's
and-
kind of quite a nightmare, so, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the $15.
Support.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider,
Abstain.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson.
Can't vote
We
for
have
that.
no choice now.
Eric,
Can't vote for that.
Eric, thanks for stepping up on that. And we do need the help.
Amend it to
It's
$20.
a lot.
Eric, does that mean the whole election machines and all have to be set up for those 9 days?
No, we're doing Richmond Township
Okay.
for the early voting, and then we'll bring them all back on the Monday before the election. There's no early voting, and then set up. I think she wants to set up in the back bay and in here for the election.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make some more room.
All right, next up, the library, quotes for painting. Now, I see that we have a formal quote, but then also here it's in a text from Becky Paré, Devin Dissett, and an estimate to scrape loose paint and plaster off, repair cracks and patch areas as needed, mud, sand, prime, patched areas, paint ceilings white, paint walls, tube coats, all paints to be sure and rollers. And that estimate was for $8,100. And I have a note on this that says that the library is requesting to go with this quote, which I don't understand because we have another one from Brown's Painting. It's basically the same thing, but it's $5,000. It's $3,100 less. Is there a reason that why they would want to pay $3,100 more?
The estimate was a little more detailed as far as what was actually going to happen. The quality of the paint, and then also the estimate we got from Brown, I believe, was from January. So I'm not sure if that was still a good quote or
Did we
not.
open this up and put it like in a newspaper for public bids at all?
I'm not sure, you know what, I don't believe it was in the newspaper. We had another member from the advisory board working on it, and she contacted a lot of different people, you know, and put it out in a lot of different places
Well,
to see
I
if
mean,
anybody.
what I'm seeing here doesn't look much like a formal bid. I know Mr. Dissett myself.
Right,
But this
I
doesn't look like
understand,
a formal
yes.
bid, and I think that, maybe we need to,
Or wait on it?
I would say that we table this for right now, and maybe we put it out for, we can get updated bid from Brown's Painting, maybe from somebody else, and Mr. Dissett could maybe put something together a little more formal. Any thoughts?
I feel the same way.
I agree.
Maybe because you're talking about like 2/3 of the cost above, so.
Right. Just-
So we've had people that don't show and we've called them to come in, to give a quote.
Mhm.
I did not myself meet Brown, and I don't know how many coats of paint. I don't know
Right.
any of the details on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty thin on details.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm really, mud, sand, prime, and patch, it's just prep work, you know what I mean?
Robbie,
a lot
is
of
that
work.
something, is that
A lot of
something you
work.
could
It's a
poke
lot of
around on
work.
and see if we
It's
can
about
get
10
some
days
other
worth of
estimates on
work.
this?
A lot of plaster work.
I work with that, I could try to work with them more.
Yeah, that would be great, so.
No, I never thought about getting, put in the paper, to be honest.
Yeah, put it in
with you.
paper,
I know
Facebook,
they-
wherever, just,
I know they work hard
Quotes we
on it,
have.
and
Yeah, if we can get a
You
fresh
get
quote
everybody
from
answers
somebody
on
else,
that.
but like I say, it's a big spread. I mean, I understand it's 6 months out on from the first estimate, but, all right.
motion to table?
Support.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
yeah,
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
And the motion includes putting it out for bid again.
No, that's library board to do that and come back with more information.
detail.
All right, yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Right, end of the year budget amendments. So everybody had a chance to look at this. It's basically, we're gonna be moving some more money around here. I don't know if there's anything that Larry would wanna comment on this?
Yeah, I just got it down on and reviewed them all, and it's kind of a year-end, kind of a, to, the, side of adjustments, prior to, our audit. So, and I went over each one with it, so, and of course, the biggest one is the water and sewer revenue, but that's the revenue that's coming in. And then, of course, the expense out, and that's on the grant for the, improvements we made for the water system, so.
I'll make a motion to approve administrative memo number 4, 2023-2024.
Support.
Mazer,
Yes,
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr.
Yes. Doug, how do you say the name on this fire company?
Dingus?
Dingus?
Yeah.
So this is the fire department's invoice for Dingus Fire Company.
Is this the Jaws?
The new jobs,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that what that is a new Jaws of Life? Okay, so, hey, it's, 'cause it just doesn't say there. It says, cutters, spreaders, extended reach tips, and I was kind of figuring that's probably what it was.
It is.
So the one that you have is reach end of life, or?
Our current jaws are at least 20 years old, because they were there when I joined the department 20 years ago. And they just don't have the strength anymore for the new high-strength steel that's in the cars, so we need a new set. For 23, 24, we were way under budget for the department, and this uses a little bit of that.
Well, next year that could be your work.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Instead of you.
Well, if we don't have any more questions on this, can I get a,
Just one quick question
Yeah.
regarding the fire
Sure.
thing. So, did we ever get a signed contract from Wales Township?
Yes, we did.
1 year, right?
1 year,
Yeah.
not 2 years.
yeah, by the way, yeah, thank you
Right.
very much for working with them on that, and, to explain things to them, and make it clear to them as best as you can.
I'm still not sure if it was clear to them, but at least we got it done.
Well,
We get to do it again next
It's a
year.
testament to your budgeting that there was no amendments for your department.
That's good.
It's nice.
I'll make a motion to approve to pay the invoice for Dingus Fire Company for the fire department.
I'll support it.
Schneider,
Yes.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer.
Yes.
And last up, with the Michigan Municipal League, their workers' compensation fund administrators, trustees. This is for an election. It's pretty much a set deal that we do here. We have 3 people that are running, and there's 3 positions available. So can I get a motion to file a ballot?
So moved.
Sofa,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Zimmer,
Yes.
Martyr,
Yes.
Mazer,
Yes.
Schneider.
Yes.
Right, from the mayor. Things are settled, things are going on. I understand that we have our issues with the condominium and, the development there, and that's kind of a sticky point there, but hopefully we just keep moving on with that. Other than that, I'll say that I am once again going to throw my hat into the ring and run for mayor. Maybe some people happy, maybe some people not very happy. Other than that, I have nothing else. Jason?
Yeah, I just want, again, I hope that we can figure out some way to find relief for our new citizens of Memphis. People talk about, I've been here, 40 years, but, everybody who moves here, whether they're here for a week or 40 years, is a citizen of the city and should be taken care of. I think that your drainage issues, when you're driving down the road, kind of hard for the average person or even us on city council to notice what's going on back there. Especially if there's any overgrowth or anything like that. So hopefully we figure out some way to get that taken care of for you. If it's put in a retention pond, then cool, let's get that done and move forward whichever way planning decides they want to and all that. And besides that, I just want to say we're not going to meet until Memphis Days. Till Memphis Days is already over with, so I hope everybody has a good festival, has a lot of fun, and has a safe week. Weekend.
I got 2 things. Bart called me, he wasn't feeling well tonight. But he did get ordered a lot of signs and some ones for the fire hydrant and some down at the school. And I think he also ordered some street signs. that we wanted to let you know. And the second thing I have, it's a memo, and what you have in your packets on the drinking water revolving fund that we, and the Lowell and Robert Street's water and service lines. The original quote was $525,668. And due to the not have to replace most of the service lines, I think there was only one. So the decrease in the expenditure is $43,544. So the adjusted cost is $482,143. And I did inquire how that would be handled, because we have to come up with a cash payment of almost $199,000, and we're gonna come out of that. And they indicated that it'll come out of the bond, 20-year bonds of $355,000. And in my opinion, that would be better because it reduced our debt. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on that, and that's all I have.
Mr. Weaver?
I am looking forward to our July 10th meeting, and hopefully this will be an opportunity to reset and review our phase 1. I don't know if we actually got to have we should have a construction review now that's getting close to finished. There's a number of questions, I think that's what that'll generate. We'll have a lot of questions that will be generated, we will answer. And also that we will for sure know what this preliminary plan is going to entail and have a proper review of that for phase 2, because I do not believe that we have fulfilled all the requirements for that. So I'm looking forward to working with the builders and the citizens in town, making sure that we do it right so that we do not have the state coming in here and telling us what we did wrong. And that's my basic motivation for, perhaps it's going to ruffle a few feathers, but we have to do this right.
Steve, thanks for stepping up and getting into this. Thank you.
That's my job.
Yeah, I totally agree with Steve, and I'm just wondering, who is the go-to person that oversees this?
Us.
Well, we don't have the knowledge and
Well, our building inspector,
is it all up to now to be seeing all this?
the building
Well, we
inspector.
can call on, we have our engineer,
Our
engineers.
our engineers?
We have an
they-
attorney, we have the various experiences of people on council, or people who have knowledge of the thing. We can draw on a lot of resources, but it's our responsibility ultimately to make sure that we're following our own ordinance and our code. But let's face it, we never built a condo development. It was drafted a number of years ago, and I mean, just for boilerplate stuff, I'm sure, it's pretty good, but we just need to make sure that we're following our own ordinance. And the builders too. And it's up to them to respond to any questions that we have, and I'm sure they're just as enthusiastic to get their project, moving forward when they can as we are, as long as it's done right.
Yeah, for sure. That's all.
Mr. Schindler?
I just wanted to give Jason some credit for fielding some questions online and responding in kind. It's not really my favorite forum, to be honest, so I give you all the credit in the world, but that's all.
I have nothing,
You don't hear that very often.
I have nothing, motion to adjourn.